Previously on the Lackadaisy, Mitzi heads downtown to settle an errand and runs into Zib where their conversations reveal more about their past.
What? You're playing hard to get now? I thought this is what you wanted.
Yeah. I guess I was just hoping to get it without the extra slathering of moral turpitude. You said it wasn't going to be like that. Cashing friends in like poker chips, I mean.
It wasn't supposed to be. But things didn't go the way I planned, and I'm running short on options. I've already pawned and sold everything I could to keep everyone fed. The big house, the cars, even my wedding china.
All of it? How about those marbles around your neck?
Oh, no! Why did you do that?
You pulled away. I'm sorry.
Then why are you just standing there? Help me! I can put it back together.
Zib gets detained by some federal law enforcement officers and gets an unexpected visit by a Prohibition agent who is more than meets the eye.
Ow, my face.
Well, that's interesting. On top of everything else, a bench warrant for Dorian ZIBOWSI. And we picked you up at the Hop House some time ago. It didn't make your court date. Look, he's doing more math in his head over there. You still figure you had enough cash on you to cover your expenses?
He had cash on him? What cash? On a separate note, I'm headed to the races on my day off, fellas.
You might as well make the best of it and cool your heels some then. You aren't liable to find a judge to arraign you until after the holiday weekend anyway. You'll get your money back though. Won't he, boys? Assuming it's on the level, that is. You look down on your luck.
Does it show?
Oh? Does the name Marigold mean anything to you? You on that payroll by chance?
What? No. How do we jump to the conclusion that is my lip bleeding again? Or am I just that pretty? What?
Well, look at that. From the vanquished empire, huh? I thought that place was but a distant memory. I'm curious. Is it actually still limping along? Or did you just forget to take it off?
Every gambler has a favorite suit. This one hasn't been so lucky for me though lately. Or I wouldn't be here talking to you, officer, or is it detective?
Neither, but you flatter me. I'm just sharing office space with the best and brightest over there. Dom Drago. I'm with the Treasury Department.
Wow, this just keeps getting better.
Tell you what, we can pretend for now you're a good little taxpayer and not a sax player. Trust me, I've got bigger fish to fry. See you around.
You're too kind.
I do my best.
Yep. Well, stay out of trouble. Damn it!
Meanwhile, the two Lackadaisy rookies, Ivy and Rocky, make their way to the ARBOGAST homestead and search for some desperately needed moonshine for the Lackadaisy speakeasy.
Oh, what's that? I must have moonbeams in my eyes. Such a sparkling stockpile of spirits should satisfactorily supplant that insufferable swill we serve.
Rocky!
Miss Sam will
Rocky!
be so...
Rocky!
No! Corn! No! Why isn't this corn tall enough?
Watch out!
This is terrible corn!
Hurry up!
It's possible I've made the situation slightly worse?
You think? Rocky!
No!
And now back to your regular scheduled program. Stay jazzy.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that because it was your last time driving the hearse. You ordained maniac.
Damnation, I couldn't stop. What did we hit?
Irrigation pipe. Tires are gone too. Look what you did to the bloody fender. Oh.
Rocky, where are? Oh, sugar beets. Oh boy, I don't want to be around when your stupid, terrible good luck runs out. Okay, you're free. We gotta go. Come on, eyes open. There. Well, don't just lay there with your eyes open. Come on. That was not especially helpful. Sorry.
Right.
Oh my gosh,
Abelard. That Ford tire's wrecked. There's a long walk home in no future.
Get out of here.
Help me put this pipeline back together first.
Where do we go?
Did you see which direction they vanished in?
No, I lost track when my life started flashing before my eyes on a downhill. But don't worry, I'm sure they scurried off with the feel of the Holy Ghost in them.
No. They're at
Please
like
feel the
the opposite.
unhinged clergy in large automobiles.
Well, I just thought I heard voices.
Oh my gosh.
Now, I figured you've been hearing them all along. Blimey, you got one after all. That's one way to save a soul. Run them over before they have a chance to...
Enough. I didn't mean to hit him.
You had me fooled. Still, well, if that's what it comes to. On the upside, I'd say he'd make a right proper scarecrow.
Hey! Don't you hurt him.
It seems a bit late for that. This is yours? Is it?
Yes. He's not dead, is he? Well, I tried that already.
Well, what do you propose I do then? Wake him up with a gentle kiss? I'm not sure I want to. It's one less of you high school jelly beans I have to worry about, slinking around out here trying to raid our stores.
Hey, I'm in college, and I'm not sure he actually ever went to school.
No, it doesn't matter. You have no idea the trouble you could get
But
us
we're
in.
buyers, not slinkers. You might have known if you weren't so eager to run us down.
Look, can I be any clearer? You being here is a problem. And did you steal that gun out of the car?
Yep.
Well, give it back. Do you even know how to use that?
Petulant child. Give me that right now.
Yes, no!
And go away from here.
You don't sound too certain. You should probably just hand it over.
No, I mean, yes. I mean, what I mean is I know how
You
to...
child, are you listening to me? Don't back away from the glim. Don't you know it's but a weak and threadbare skin that holds back the wicked troubled sea in every soul? And it takes but one iniquitous choice to tear a rent in it. Give me the gun. Give it to me!
Stay back!
Because in that sea, there's no surface, no chance of unburdening breath, no vindicating sun, and every stumble and misdeed made thereafter in that bitter deep is another heart-eyeing ring about your neck to speed your descent into the boiling blackness!
You look like a giant spider. Don't do that!
But hellfire.
He does look like a giant spider. But don't take it out on a hearse. We need that.
Well, you don't grow up around a bunch of scoundrel bootleggers without learning how to shoot, do you? Should I keep shooting things? I mean, what'll it take to convince you we're on the same side?
Well, not that. Maybe that. I don't know. I've never had anything that squeaky pull a gun on me before.
Well...
All right. If I'll momentarily stop you putting more holes and dents in my livelihood. Just which scoundrel bootleggers are we talking about?
bacterial fluid. You aren't cutting the liquor with this stuff, are you? That was the problem with our last supplier. Ooh, what's this? An organ pulper? I thought you guys were in the booze business. What do you need all these morbid doohickeys for?
Well, we're in the death business too. There's some amount of overlap.
What's this? A bloodsucker?
Yes.
Bobby, what sort of trouble are you dragging into the house now?
Roadkill, courtesy of your brother. Trifling problem, though. My trade requires this to be rather more dead than it seems to be. It keeps bleeding.
What's the poor thing doing down here, then?
I didn't want to ruin the parlor upholstery, honey. And I figured if he wakes up on an bowling table, we can all just have a good, long laugh about the whole situation. So maybe you can put his head back together? Elsa. She's a nurse.
Former nurse.
And I met her overseas just after the war. I had trench foot and she had a hotsy-totsy little...
What's your name, dear?
Ivy. The mangled one is Rocky.
I'll see what I can do to fix that.
Oh, well, we had to shoulder him back here. But it was the only thing to do, Elsa. It seems we have a pair of Lackadaisy emissaries on our hands. The ship went down with the captain, last I knew. But she says Viktor Vasco sent them.
Viktor? Really? Why didn't he come himself? How is he?
Well, better than this one at the very moment, but, slightly indisposed, you could say.
I still don't understand why he would send...
Maybe because I do such a good impersonation? The reason actually is because I'm a Pepper. Ruby Pepper's girl. My dad and Atlas go way back, you know. When I was a kid and my dad had some business with Atlas, he'd sometimes take me to St. Louis, to the Lackadaisy. It was like being royalty. Everyone was so nice to me. I guess because Atlas was my godfather. Anyway, now I'm grown, I've decided to stay there.
I see. Well, I am sorry for what happened to Atlas. He was difficult to read, but he always had a mild, soft-spoken way about him.
Soft-spoken and positively Machiavellian. It was a no-holds-barred situation when he had Viktor and the other one along.
Who? Mordecai? When were they all here?
Many times, especially in the early days when the Volstead was the newest craze, and Atlas was carving out a foothold. Contrarily, our post-mortem services were a bit slower to catch on in the wild. Profit was a pittance, but all Atlas saw was the halo of potential. You see, these hinterlands are doubly blessed with a dearth of law enforcement and an MKT road depot. Atlas, likely with the aid of your dad, did some string pulling to make sure the train arrived burdened with bottles. Old log cabin Cuban rum. The real McKay's. I bet it's paying for that higher education of yours now. Anyway, as you seldom get a sideways look loading long boxes off a train and into a hearse, it was our place to pick it up and store it for broker's percentage. We were altogether proud of the brilliance in this little arrangement until some local cattle rustling train robbing rabble figured on liquor being easier to rustle and chaps like us being easier to rob, and that they did.
They shot our organ player.
It was right about then Atlas first brought Lefty and Righty up here to sort things out.
It would probably be in your better interests to stop screaming and start enunciating while we can still hear you.
Yes! Oh! Yes! 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 Wait! I don't want to die! I don't want to die! I don't want to die yet! I don't want to die yet! that's when things got really interesting. It turned out this lot was playing cowboys and gangsters with some boys from the city, peddling to them what they stole from us. This city gang, some Sicilians or something, well, Atlas happened to know they were in the midst of a turf war with a then blossoming establishment you might know as Marigold. And there was this lodge up in the hills where...
Don't tell her these awful stories, Bobby.
Oh, come on, it's a bloody good story. Besides, she almost blew us away earlier. I mean, you know what's what, don't you?
Yeah. Of course I... Tell me more!
Alright. Well, now, what was I getting at? Oh, see, the lodge tucked back here, in the nowhere. The country mice and city mice had been meeting there to make their exchanges. Newly privy to that, Atlas decided he'd make a rather bold gesture of confronting our nuisance and doing Marigold an unsolicited favor. In a business of bitter enemies, it doesn't hurt to make a friend, yeah? Anyway, in that spirit, the captive cattle thief was returned to his friends.
You just gotta stand there on the threshold?
Where the hell have you been? You smell like death.
With a souvenir from the war. And Viktor and Mordecai made their way through the place like a minor tornado.
Take cover!
Viktor was something of a remnant from the war himself. And Mordecai? Well, come to think of it, couldn't have been very much older than you at the time. He'd had an early start, though, supposedly, still in knee pants when he began keeping books for grifters and gamblers in New York. But things must have soured for him there. Atlas said when he crossed his path, he was looking rather worse for wear, riding a getaway train toward Chicago or Detroit, with some deeply unhappy associates on his heels. It wouldn't surprise me to learn that, left to his own agencies, he'd brought his troubles on himself. For all his qualifications with books and odds and percentages and what, he'd always been about as personable as a bespectacled, barbed-wired post, and likely tallied up more enemies than friends.
That son of a... I'll get that bastard.
I've heard it said some long ago incident left a little bit of lead rattling about his cranium and carved him that wonky streak. But I never had the gall to ask him myself if that was true. I can tell you, Atlas didn't see the personality problem as a problem, so much as a facility worth fostering. However, so, as the story I know goes, Atlas settled some of his pursuing grievances, gave him the veritable shirt off his back, placed him on his feet, set him to work. And from what I gathered, the boy had been learning fast.
Bastard! Damn you!
Okay.
I meant to do that.
Get out. Now.
Bastard.
Viktor, I figured, for more of a bundle of nerves than a crack brain, if he was anything like my mates, the ones who weren't numbed or shell-shocked, he'd gone home from the front and back to work, resembling electric wire with all the sievings stripped off. And that must have made whatever labor conflict erupted around him into something of a powder keg situation. Because he didn't waste any time barreling into some political turmoil, the sort that comes to blows. As I understand it, the dockworkers faction of the Great Unwashed he'd settled in with through an unhappy party when Palmer raids cost them some union leaders. The strikebreakers and the authorities arrived uninvited, of course, and they all had themselves a great big row. That's how he lost the eye. Tossing the constabulary about like ragdolls. It took a well-aimed pry bar to put that fire out long enough they could subdue him. Or so Atlas recounted. Whatever business he had at the riverfront that day was superseded by the event, so he joined the spectators. Viktor's performance must have left an impression, as Atlas went to some trouble turning up a lawyer for him, one who held aloft Viktor's national service against his former countrymen, no less. To allay any silly ideas, he represented some foreign breed of anarchist monster. It must have worked, because his little sojourn to prison was cursory compared to some others. Afterward, he returned with Atlas to work off the debt. By the time his indenture was up, well, I suppose he'd crossed some lines into no man's land, without any prospects ahead of him, or much remaining of whatever he had left behind. He stayed on with Atlas, where he had some place and purpose. And lucky for us...
Tea.
Oh, why thank you, Abelard.
Thanks.
He had been most of the muscle behind the momentum that got us off and running in those early years.
Good job.
Thank you.
And with that, the fray at the lodge was more a proper slaughter. Atlas got his lost liquor back. Well, most of it. Made off with our robbers' would-be profits and a small fleet of dead men's vehicles too. After that, Mordecai followed Atlas back to the city like his ferocious little shadow. At the Marigold Room, Atlas busied himself leveraging goodwill with an old acquaintance among the management, as well as indulging some personal interests. I do believe that's where he met his wife. Viktor stayed with us a while, accompanying us on pickups, and keeping that one eye on things around here in case we had any trouble with lingering loose ends. What trouble we had was little trouble indeed. The Reverend and I owe them our gratitude, and you know there's the fact that we're always...
Well, you'll do business with us again then.
What?
Good
No!
God,
No! Since Atlas departed us, we've had a new buyer. I'm afraid they rather insist on their exclusivity.
Marigold.
Yeah, and whatever's giving them the nervous twitch lately is making me nervous. First, I hear they've taken up some aggressive spring cleaning. Then they start skulking about here, squinting at us with more eyes than usual. So, matter of policy, unless you're here for an honest-to-goodness funeral, we've got naught to do with it. Hence the slightly overzealous vehicular acrobatics.
We can't do business for nostalgia's sake, small child.
Well, if not for nostalgia, how about amends for this?
What? Didn't I just... Oh, were you listening? Besides, look at him. He's good as new.
He looks precisely like he got hit in the face with a hearse. And what would Viktor think of this? The grievous wounding of his dear beloved protege. You broke him. Will he ever talk sense again? I know on top of your other troubles, the last thing you need is an enemy like Viktor. But I'm not sure he'll let this go unanswered.
Put your head back down.
All right, in the spirit of friendship
And rest
we'll discuss the possibility
grudgingly.
of a very minor arrangement.
Evil incarnate.
Oh, don't you start, Abelard. I know that look, and I'm not in a mood for a sermon tonight. I feel inclined to remind you that it was your crazed motoring that put that boy on our
I
bed.
remember it being your own misplaced compassion for that fox in our vineyard.
And a deep desire to keep her from shooting away at anything those big peepers of hers saw. Either way, we'd best figure out some sort of deal before she leaves. Because we keep reaching the fear of hellfire.
Before you get lost in negotiations, perhaps you can accompany me upstairs for a moment, Miss Pepper.
Marigold find out
Sure.
for there shall be no prayers for our souls to save come that judgment day.
Wow. Whoa, this place is huge.
This must all be very exciting, You seem so much in your element doing this. I have to wonder, what exactly is it you think you're doing? Say it out loud, please.
Well, circumstances what they are. I guess I'm brokering a purchase of alcohol. For an underground criminal establishment, but just a small one, though.
Don't forget gunslinging. I just wanted to make sure that you'd taken these things into consideration, clever miss.
Well, I've really only ever shot for sport before.
And Viktor certainly didn't send you here.
You know Viktor that well, huh? Times are hard right now, and we're...
Well enough to know he'd just as soon send his own daughter.
He sent Rocky. I tagged along. I'm usually just the cashier. But this is Viktor's doing anyway. If he hadn't laid waste to my social life and my afternoon, I wouldn't be here. Metaphorical daughter?
Daughter.
What? Where?
I suppose wherever his wife is.
Wait to bite toast! Why aren't they around? Why do you know all this and I don't? I've rifled through all his stuff.
Oh my. Why so much concern?
I guess I thought someone should be concerned. A little bit. But I didn't know.
I see. We had some common ground is all. And they're not around because, well, I think maybe that's the best that could be done amid all the mistakes and bad turns that bring people like him to places like this.
What brought you then?
Oh, well, the funerary business is thriving in the city, but all the people, the noise, I had no tolerance, not after the war. We resorted to doing what we do now to stay where it's quiet as the grave. The way Bobby saw it, Atlas had the antidote for our troubles. My trouble. But I just hope someone like you would have no such reasons to be here, and would be smart enough not to invent any. Inhospitable as it sounds, it'll be safer for everyone if you leave as soon as you're done and your friend is on his feet. He'll be hurting later. This will help.
Oh.
Here's extra dressing. Keep the wound clean with this.
Hmm.
I know doctors aren't always an option in these situations, but if he loses consciousness again, has unevenly dilated pupils, a lot of ongoing clumsiness, incoherent speech, dramatic mood swings, at least drop him off at a hospital.
Someone should have dropped him off at the hospital a long time ago. Then she pulls me aside and tells me Viktor has some estranged family somewhere. By the way, If anyone asks, you're practically the son he never had. And that's your cue to say something that makes no sense, so I know you're all right.
You drive?
Of course. Once or twice. Mostly we're rolling downhill. It seems like this would be easier if I could reach the pedals and see over the wheel at the same time. Anyway, where to, mister? Where do you live?
We're already there.
Well, that explains some things. But it won't do for tonight. I'm sure Miss M would let you sleep on the office couch.
No. Oh no. Can't let Miss M see this. She'll know I ruined everything. What did I ruin?
Actually, we got a little something worked out. You look so pathetic. You made a good bargaining chip. So, good job. How about I take you to your aunt's? We can invent an excuse for your face. No, huh?
No excuse for my face there. It's only abided in small doses.
Well, your cousin's clearly an ally. I would think it'd be like a second home.
A long time ago, when Mom was chasing Red Death and Dad was working on the railroad, it was home more than home was. But then came one of those little family tragedies, and it had an author. And with already ink-stained hands, it won me a long trip, so the reliable lad could finish school undisturbed, and so time could dull my fresh reminder face.
Oh, that's how you ended up traveling out west? All that adventuring about must have suited you, though. Working on a boat, and at a farm, and a circus and... Shoot! Stall! Oh, what did I do wrong now?
It's not your fault. I slipped the clutch out all the time and wore it out.
Why?
Because I'm a horrible person.
Oh.
Try giving him more gas when you let the clutch out. So, what are you kids doing out here in the sticks this time of night anyway?
We're lost?
Oh yeah? You heading towards St. Louis?
Yeah.
Well, the ferries don't run this late, but you'll be cityside soon enough if you hang a left here. Keep going east till you hit the old St. Charles Bridge. Careful of the fog and the deer. Hey, and stay out of trouble.
Oh man, what a weird night. Well, Rocky, it's far past curfew, and we're not allowed to have boys in the dorm. But that's all the more incentive to sneak you in. What do you say?
Were we in a corn thing?
I'll explain it all again on the way there. Ivy. Olivia, Helen. Hurry up! The Gawkers are converging.
1 minute. I just need to reassure Miss M that everything's something.
Hello, Zib?
Hello? Miss M? I'm calling to... How are you? You sound low.
Oh, Rocky. Fine, sweetheart. Are you okay? You sound stranger than usual.
I'm wearing a flowery night garment.
Well, I'm sure that explains it. How are our plans playing out?
Wonderfully. Doubly good. I see two of everything now.
That sounds lovely. Is that what you called to tell me?
No, How are you?
We covered that part, sweetie. What did Viktor have to say?
Don't remember. But I'm told I found some booze. I can get it tomorrow.
if we can scrape up the funds. Don't worry, though. I'll think of something. We can take bets on how much glass I'll swallow, or how many nails I can hammer into my sinuses. Or, well, I just need to sleep and think on it. I fill my soul
as
if
it
it comes to
happens,
it.
my meeting with Wick today was fruitful. Seems he saved us again, whether he knows it or not.
Okay.
You're certain everything's alright?
I'm great. How are you?
Okay, enough reassuring. Let's resume the sneaking.
Is that one of your gangster friends?
Are all of your gangsters that wavy?
Shoo! Shoo!
Truly scandalous, Pepper. I'm jealous.
You go ahead and collapse on the bed. I'll sleep in the chair.
Come on! Before you wake the entire floor and the chaperones!
If you're feeling better in the morning, I'll introduce you to the girls out in the green. They'll think you're the absolute berries. Never mind. What is this place? Why don't you turn around? It's just a ghost.
It makes the light for dead eyes. Didn't you see his face?
Rocky?
Look what you found.
I'm worried about the overlap.
He says it's sorted.
What on earth have you gotten yourself into?
What on earth have you gotten yourself into? What on earth have you gotten yourself into? And look what he did to my lipstick!
What?
Morning, Miss Pepper! Meet you later. The pie truck and the pig truck are required for the pickup tonight. I'm gonna need your help. Love, Rocky.
Huh. Oh, man.
Standing alone, without a dream in my heart, without a love of my own.
No, sir. We don't appear to have any Savoy's register here at this time.
Try the spelling Savoie.
Sorry, sir.
Well, they're astute enough to use an alias, even if time eludes them.
Sir?
Perhaps you'd know whom I was referring to if I described them as a pair of supposed siblings, speaking a sort of Cajun Creole patois, rife with francophone interjections and enough interdental fricative stops to stagger a New Yorker. Yes, they are a bit difficult to understand.
Well, I could go ask my manager if he knows about any Cajun, dental, fixative...
They're also loud. Maybe there's a room or suite about which you receive an inordinate number of noise complaints?
Oh! Noise like drum beats and chickens?
Pecan, you found us.
Yes. Well, you're hardly inconspicuous.
Look who's shown up for the ball, Serafine. Our petite hash.
I'm not showing up for the ball. I'm retrieving you from it. I realize time doesn't factor into your backward professional philosophy, but we have a job to do. You were supposed to meet me at...
Hi.
You were to meet me at 6th and Washington at...
Yeah, but you wouldn't come here if we just invited you. We enjoying watching you dance, but you better sit down before you fall over.
Il enfonce comme un pouce indolore, no? Don't worry. You males most have fun parts.
The fun parts of what, exactly?
Of fat. Exactly, Pecan.
For our patron, Maître Carrefour.
The chicken?
Behind that, Deloa.
One of your swamp spirits? Well, we've quickly stumbled on something that makes even less sense than a chicken party.
It makes sense if you know anything. And he ain't just a swamp spirit. He is all around, in between places, off-trodden paths, away from street light, where all is dim and dangerous. Where these strange animals are, where people like us live, and you best acknowledge it when he been good to you. We was bebés when he saved us, me and Nicodème. La Société de Notre-Dame de Bienfaisance. They was gonna separate us. Boys over here, girls over there. I told the sisters to cut my hair. I'll just be a boy, and we can keep together. Nobody would listen. They gotta put walls up and draw lines around everything, like they afraid of how it's all tangled together.
Nobody could listen, 'cause she was yelling like a coyote in a trap. I didn't think she was ever going to eat again if we stayed.
Meh. We left that place. For a time, we was lost in the city, lost on the roads, and then lost in the bayou. We didn't know it, but we slipped into Maître Carrefour's twilight place, between places. He saw us half-starved in our pirogue, and took pity on us and sent us a guide, a gator that glowed like a full moon and showed us a way in that dark water maze. He brought us to Mama and Eulalie and the voodoo yens of the Nowhere Isles. So we stayed and lived there and learned about how to survive in Maître Carrefour's shadows, doing what's in our blood. The blood of Lavaux and Lafitte.
Mm-hmm. So, this is all a ploy to sell me some gree-gree, is that it? Or this is a joke. Is this a joke? I said no more jokes. Is this performance art?
No, we've been mulling you over. We decided we want you to join the congregation.
What? Congregation?
We, all of us, except not that one, he invited himself.
And what about that one? Is he alive? He doesn't blink.
He'll be fine.
Thank you. I decline.
Not gonna listen to what I have to say?
No. I'm answering no.
Why don't you just let me finish, and then we can decide?
No, I don't want to be in your weird club.
Couillon.
It's not quite enough that we have to work together.
No. Not when we know what kind you are. You talk to the fat man about us. I wonder, what did he tell you?
He said you are hijacking shipments coming up from the south, and he hired you instead of having you shot. A stroke of generosity you've clearly indulged to the utmost. And precisely what kind am I?
The kind who turns on his partners on a dime.
You don't understand anything about that.
Mais we do. It's just business.
We are the same kind, us. But this here, it's more than business. This way, we got more to talk about, and we stay friends, whatever happens. And if not, then whatever happens is just business. But you should know, Maître Carrefour, he set us on this crisscross path. He says he knows you. You met him before, on a lonely road somewhere, in an alley, by the tracks, on a train maybe, when you was in that same little boat as us, when you was lost.
Mother, forgive my unannounced departure. Circumstances relating to my employment have required me to travel on short notice. It may be some time before I'm able to correspond again. But you will find savings in my rented room above the dry grocery, adequate for living. Give Miss Courts the name Ezra, and she will allow you upstairs. There's a safe box in the southeast corner, behind the baseboard. The combination is as follows. Anti-clockwise, pay. Clockwise, bet. And finally, anti-clockwise, shed. Please use some portion of it to relocate to a more suitable living space, expeditiously. Purchase somewhere if you're able. The building is poorly ventilated, malignant, and unhealthful. Mordecai. Damn it. Those men, they've been following me the whole time. Toward the back, not in the front. I don't have much time left. Excuse me. You wouldn't happen to have a postage stamp, would you? Pardon me. Perhaps I could impose on you to post a letter? I wouldn't ask a stranger except that it's...
Right at the last moment, right at the right moment, he come right out the shadows, in one form or the other, like a strange light, like he been watching all the time, 'cause he was.
Who are you? Do I know you?
Perhaps you do, boy.
Can you help me?
The countryside. Oh, it looks marvelous. Don't you agree? Look for the light, boy. Live by the shadows.
No, wait, sir!
Perhaps we'll meet again soon, boy.
Who was that man? Oh, I gotta do something. Huh? That man left his newspaper. Something's behind it.
And like that, easy like the papa out the Black Mile, you got yourself in, shining a direction for you, real clear. His direction.
We trust that you've enjoyed this audio contemplation based off the Eisner Award-nominated webcomic series, Lackadaisy, written and illustrated by Tracy J. Butler. This audio drama was produced and directed by Darkspeeds, featuring the following talents in order of appearance: Tyler Sampsonis as Dorian ZIBOWSI, Donnie Girl 12 as MITZI May, Wolfblade 93 and Andrew Boa as Prohibition officers, Vincent Chapa as Dom Drago, Tyler Sampsonis as ROARK Rocky Rickaby, Kate Halstead as Ivy Pepper, Darkspeeds as Bobby Bastion, the Tiger Wolf 55 as Abelard ARBOGAST, Willow Fengs as Elsa, Darkspeeds, Anthony Logato and Andrew Boa as Old Cabin Lodge Gangsters, the Tiger Wolf 55 as Mordecai Heller, Wolfblade 93 as Viktor, Darkspeeds as Atlas May, Wolfblade 93 as WES CLYDE, Alyssa Alaniz-Rodwell, Kate Halstead, and Jennifer Ferguson as College Girls, Vincent Chapa as Freckle, Anthony Logato as Bellboy, Andrew Boa as Nicodem Savoy, Alyssa Alaniz-Rodwell as Zuli, Honey Beckman as Serafine Savoy, Wolfblade 93 as Young Mordecai, and also as yours truly, the narrator. Musical scores used for the project rightfully belong to Kevin MacLeod from Incompetech.com. Roaring Twenties and Prohibition songs belong to their rightful owners and David Louis Luong from Louis Luong Relaxation Cafe. Sound effects belong to the Sony Pictures Sound Effects series and the BBC Sound Effects Library. All audio was produced and edited with Audacity. Darkspeeds wishes to give special thanks to Tracy J. Butler, the cast, and of course, you, the listeners. Tune in next time for another sensational audio contemplation of the Lackadaisy. Stay sober, stay faithful, and as always, stay jazzy.